With the 8th pick in the 2022 CFL Draft, the Edmonton Elks select Tre Ford, quarterback, University of Waterloo. Montreal, you're on the clock.
You know, this is the perfect Chris Jones pick, but before we break him down, let's take a look at how high quarterbacks have been drafted previously. You've got Jesse Palmer and Nathan Rourke. Each of them have gone 15th overall. Michael O'Connor, 20th. Brad Sinopoli, 29th. You got to go back to 1980. Sheldon Paris from Kansas State to see a quarterback that got taken in the first round. And Tre Ford, again, when you look at Chris Jones, he is not afraid to gamble. And you can't, it's not a gamble when you're an athlete that's this good. But it is a quarterback, so some people will look at you and say, should you be taking him this high? But wow, this guy is a flat-out playmaker.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was really the human highlight film of U Sports going back to his rookie season. Absolutely phenomenal. You know, a lot of credit goes to University of Waterloo coach Chris Bertoia here, because a big part of the reason why the Ford twins ended up at Waterloo, a school that had a losing program prior to their arrival, is because Chris Bertoia was the guy who was committed to giving Tre Ford an opportunity to play quarterback from the start. And Tre Ford more than repaid that and was more than rewarded for that opportunity, Marshall.
Yeah, University of Waterloo records. He's got over 7,000 passing yards, 56 passing touchdowns. He's 4th all-time in rushing as a quarterback for the University of Waterloo. I mean, first playoff W in 20 years that he was able to give them, 27 touchdowns to just 2 interceptions back in an outstanding 2018 season, in which one of those 2 interceptions, by the way, was just a Hail Mary to end the half against Carleton. So, like, he has got the ability athletically to do anything on the football field. And the thing that I love about this is, yes, Edmonton and their quarterbacking situation, it's Nick Arbuckle, it's Mike Beaudry if you're talking about having a national Canadian in that spot. Then you've got J.T. Barrett, Taylor Cornelius, Keon Howard, Kai Loxley, Khalil Tate. Chris Jones has been looking for his Jordan Lynch. He's been trying to find that backup quarterback that they can run a unique set with moving forward. He just found him.
Yeah.
You don't need Khalil Tate. You don't necessarily need J.T. Barrett unless he or Nick Arbuckle becomes your starter moving forward here. I really, truly believe that this is the backup quarterback now for the Edmonton Elks if he can prove himself, if he gets into camp, and he wants to be in the CFL because he can do anything athletically on the field.
Marsh has just taken an analysis, an analyst job one step further and just cut all the backup quarterbacks for the Edmonton Elks. I talked to the folks.
Efficient.
I talked to the folks in Edmonton about Tre Ford, and they said 2 things: he's fast, and he's a playmaker. Yep. Say no more. Whether he's tell the story of what we talked about. You interviewed him, and what he said about when he wants wanting to play quarterback. I loved his answer. I know you did.
So 2-30 is what the Waterloo Warriors record was in the 4 years before Tre Ford stepped onto campus with his brother. Since then, 15-15. You might say, well, they're just 500. To go from 2-30 to 15-15 is a massive improvement, and he knows how good of a quarterback he can be. Like, he understands that he has earned the right and the opportunity to be a quarterback. So I said, do you want to play quarterback? Will you demand to be a quarterback? And he said, listen, all I'm doing is asking them, give me the opportunity. And the reason that's so smart, I know that Tre Ford is good enough. If you give him the opportunity, you are not going to make him change his position.
He's betting on himself without demanding it, and I love that attitude.
Yeah.
Hey, and consider the fact that one of the league's rule changes was 2 quarterbacks could be on the field at the same time. Yep. Imagine putting Tre Ford in that situation. This guy not only had a great passing year, he led the nation in rushing average, 10.1 yards per carry.